Welcome to the U.S. Defense Line channel. An interesting attack took place on territory of Russia. Russian intelligence found attackers. The Moscow administration was shocked by this event, because aggressors are the former Soviet countries. Ukraine-Russia war continues with all its violence. Ukrainian army got very close to city of Kherson. Due to this situation, Kremlin began to send troops to region. In addition, advance of Ukrainian army made Putin very angry. 9,000 Russian soldiers were sent to Belarus. It has also emerged that Russia will launch a new operation in the near future. Target of this operation is the heart of Ukraine. Russian army will open a new front in northern Ukraine. In this operation, Kyiv was determined as the first target, because Russia does not send its 9,000 soldiers to Belarus for nothing. Distance between Belarus and Kyiv is quite close. Ukrainian soldiers began preparations for this front, which is expected to open from north. At the moment, advance of the Ukrainian army continues on the eastern and southern fronts. On the other hand, Ukrainian army is also attacking military bases in Russia. Recently, Su-27 aircraft of Ukrainian Air Force struck Russian military bases in Belgorod region. It was confirmed that air defense systems were hit as a result of the attacks. Su-27s hunted down defense systems in region one by one, using their anti-radar missiles. These situations put Kremlin in trouble. Also, latest attack in Belgorod caused great panic in Russia. While gunfire was heard from the city streets, Russian soldiers in the region attacked towards the conflict zone. A major conflict broke out at Russian military base. As a result of the conflict, a red alert was issued in the region. There was an attempt to infiltrate the military base located near the Ukrainian border. A fierce clash broke out between the people who infiltrated military base and Russian soldiers. As a result of the conflict, there were dead and wounded. Russian news agency RIA shared a very interesting development after the attack. It was noted that people who infiltrated military base came from a former Soviet country. After this incident, Russian Ministry of Defense did not give more details about the attackers. Information that started to be obtained after the conflict was quite confusing. Speaking to RIA, Russian official stated that a clash broke out during the shooting practice. It is not clear how these people entered the military base. After the events, the Ukrainian side did not take responsibility for the attack. While it is not known who the attacker was, the Kyiv official shared interesting information about the conflict. Conflict that broke out at the military base in Belgorod actually broke out with a discussion on religion, according to Ukrainian official. He even shared detailed information about this event. Speaking to RIA, Russian official stated that a clash broke out during the shooting practice. It is not clear how these people entered the military base. After the events, Ukrainian side did not take responsibility for the attack. While it is not known who the attacker was, the Kyiv official shared a piece of interesting information about the conflict. Conflict that broke out at the military base in Belgorod actually broke out with a discussion on religion, according to Ukrainian official. Even Ukrainian official shared interesting information about this event. There were more than one volunteer group at this military base where Russia provided training. These groups quarreled and clashed over religion. It turned out that the side that started the conflict came from Tajikistan. Due to the conflict, Russian army flocked to the region. With arrival of a large number of Russian soldiers in the region, the hearts coming from Tajikistan were responded to. At the end of the incident, the people who started the conflict in volunteer group were neutralized. It is stated that this military base is actually very well protected. Because, after Putin announced partial mobilization last month, conscripts are trained here. Many people were brought to this military base after it was announced that 300,000 people would be re-enlisted as part of the mobilization and sent to fight in Ukraine. Many young men tried to leave Russia. There was even chaos across the country because of those who did not want to go to war. Everyone has even started to leave country. However, some people who were stated to have volunteered to go to war were also taken to training camps. Although Kremlin said that the goal of conscription was achieved and there was no need for new volunteers, it increased patrols in big cities, especially in the capital Moscow. It is also stated that although recruitment to military is supposedly over, the volunteers in the military base, where the conflict is currently taking place, have just arrived. In fact, Only Russia did not recruit its own citizens due to the incident. It was quite remarkable that people from Tajikistan were also present there. Russian army is currently taking such steps to achieve victory in Ukrainian war. Also, Kremlin is currently planning to deal the heaviest blow to Ukraine. Russian officials believe they will be victorious if they can cut off all internet access in Ukraine. Actually, when you look at it, it would be pretty bad if internet access was cut off in Ukraine. Telecommunications come to a complete stop, and even the function of important systems of soldiers such as GPS is slowed down. Russian experts devised a diabolical plan. According to this plan, all systems providing internet to Ukraine would be hit. In this plan, the first target was Starlink satellites. Russian experts did not calculate missiles to completely destroy Starlink satellites. Starlink satellites, backbone of Ukrainian army, are target of Russian army. Experts are considering destroying 3,131 Starlink spacecraft currently in orbit. For this, number of missiles is quite high. All Starlink satellites can be destroyed if it uses at least 4,000 missiles in total. Crazy experts who did this calculation actually got a false dream. They can't fire that many missiles, which is actually impossible. There are missiles in inventory of Russian army that can shoot down satellites currently in orbit. But there are not 4,000 of them. So right now these crazy Russian experts are on new quests to cut off Ukraine's internet access completely. In fact, these pursuits make Kremlin happy. Fact that Russian experts are still striving to win the war with hope supports Kremlin. But Moscow again had to deal with new problems. In the middle of Russia, the plane crashed in the center of city. A training plane in Yeysk crashed right over settlement. As a result of the fall, a violent explosion occurred and residences were damaged. While it was stated that there was a lot of damage as a result of the explosion, there was no explanation from Moscow administration. Efforts to extinguish fire, which broke out as a result of explosion, are continuing. Plane crashed in immediate vicinity of a 9-story building, causing extensive damage to building. Fire that broke out with explosion of plane also spread to building. Local crews of area tried to extinguish fire. It is known that pilot who used training plane left plane before it crashed. According to local reports, reason plane exploded so much was that it contained ammunition. It is stated that aircraft that performed training flight is actually a Su-34 bomber. It is also claimed that this aircraft carried too much ammunition. Eyewitnesses say that explosion caused by crash of plane was deafening. Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation has not yet made a full statement about this incident. Certainty of event will emerge in near future. We'll see what happens in the coming days. We have come to the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. By subscribing, you can easily follow new videos. I wish you all happy days. See you.